right, guys. Welcome to episode or podcast numero dos. We are missing Tone today. I know our schedules have been a little weird. I had to work, and Tone still working right now, and it's approximately like 9 p.m. on a Saturday. So, welcome back, guys.
Hola.
Thank you. Good to be here.
What was that?
Oh, I just said thank you.
Very, very warm welcome. Thank you. Yes.
Quick little thanks for the people that watched our previous watched and listened to our previous podcast. I know my cousin Hugo reached out to me and said, "How you guys are doing?" My cousin Jose, I think we have played soccer with both of them for 5+ years. I don't know if you know him, Danny.
If I saw him, I'd probably recognize him more than by the name.
Yeah, I think so. I think Danny would for sure know Hugo. I think Jose was a little older, but that's cool. Say what's up.
Will do. All right. So exciting news this week. We got the stimulus check, and what is everybody doing with it?
Most of us.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, Alex.
Yeah, mine's being mailed.
So I think I would treat it very similar to your tax return. Whatever you're working on paying down right in the moment. That's what I'd dump the whole thing to, whatever debt that is.
Talking about,
what if you don't have debt? What if you were debt free? What would you do with it?
Actually, good question. I'd probably do a 70-30 split between stocks and crypto.
Is this before building up an emergency fund?
Oh,
He doesn't believe in that.
yeah.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that. So I was just reading an article, and they were talking about like the 5 things you should do with your stimulus check. First thing was obviously pay any essentials, food, gas, any outstanding bills that from the coronavirus that you might not be able to pay off. Second thing was to pay off high interest debt, credit cards. Alex, credit cards.
I feel personally attacked. I don't know why I'm being told. I'm sorry. These arbitrage positions that Celsius is allowing due to their high yields makes it very attractive to do balance transfers right now.
Instead of paying off the credit card, you just do balance transfer.
I was doing it before, but might as well make money off of it now.
Yeah, fair enough. And then I guess the last thing was, not the last thing, but second to the last was to build up a 3 to 6 month emergency fund.
Which does appear to mean different things to different people. Mikey has a very different definition of what an emergency fund should be. And we all have different ideas of where it should be kept. But to answer the original question, when I get mine, I'm not actually sure yet where it's going to go. I think it is going to go to pay off my my credit card debt and my lovely girlfriend, who siphons most of my money these days.
Is Alicia there? Tell her hi for us.
She's throwing things at me now. Yeah, it'll probably end up going to that. If I didn't have debt, it would for sure go into the market or crypto, which I know is not really what it was intended for. Oh, I need sheets too, so that would be it. I'd buy new sheets.
That is a necessary thing.
I'd use the stimulus to stimulate the economy.
By all means, please do. Well, I ended up paying off. We both ended up. Me and Dana kind of combined it and paid off her car. So that was really nice and exciting. And then I think the rest will probably go out and spend it locally, help local business, maybe go out on a date or something.
Yeah, paying off a car is like a great feeling. I just paid mine off about 6 months ago, and it's been great. So much more money for crypto now.
Yeah,
but yeah, Eddie, what was that?
I don't want a car payment again.
Yeah, me either. I'm just like, nope. Hopefully my car lasts for another 5 or 8 years, and we'll see where I am from there. But yeah, any extra money that's coming in now is I'm probably like 90% crypto, 10% stocks, since I don't really have any other debt. And I mean, I'm in an apartment, so there's just rent, no real maintenance expenses. So it's pretty easy. It's where all my extra funds are going right now.
That's pretty sweet. I wish I had the option, but I do have kids, so I can't go and YOLO stuff on crypto or stocks. So I do have to build up at least a 3-month emergency fund. And right now, Nusenda.
I thought kids just meant that you got 3 times the amount of YOLO money.
Yeah, we're about in like the kid payment time right now with tax returns.
Well, they're expensive. I don't know if you guys knew. They like to eat a lot. They somehow get hurt a lot. You have to go take them to like the dentist and do all that good. Like, I don't know. They're kind of expensive. Yeah. I guess you don't have to, but child services might go after you.
Okay. Yeah, I guess you have to.
Okay, yeah. All right, invest in them. So it's a good point.
So most of my emergency money was in Nusenda, but recently I've been.
So what is Nusenda?
Credit union.
Okay.
Yeah, and so the amount of money that you save on there, or like the yield that you get back on your money, is like 0.02 or something like. So you get like cents on the dollar. I mean, 0.01 cent on the dollar. It's ridiculous. So we opened up a Charles Schwab account that's going to allow us to do longer term savings. So I've been pretty much putting it in a 30-year bond and TIPS, so Treasury Inflation Protection Securities. So that yields out to about 2% a year.
Right there with inflation.
Yeah, just barely keeping up with inflation.
Yeah, that's not bad. And how long, if you needed access to those, how long would it take you to get it?
Days, if that. I mean, I've transferred from Charles Schwab to my personal account before, and it's taken 2 days.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, to cover emergency funds. I started about 5 years ago, building one. But I didn't see the point in keeping it in my bank, especially since I'd just be kind of tempted to spend it if it's that close. So that's when I started just using Acorns to put my extra cash into the stock market. And then if I ever do need funds for an emergency, I just pull it out of there, and I'm able to get in within about 5 or 6 days. So that's worked out pretty well for me.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. If you have an emergency fund and you're able to like access it like right away, I feel like you're more likely to spend it than if you put it somewhere where it takes maybe like 2 to 5 days and have to transfer it out from another account or something. I think that's a way better option. That way you're not tempted to spend it, like you said, Danny.
Yeah, and I would do that a lot.
That's if only if you have another means of paying for an emergency in the moment, either enough balance on your credit card.
Yeah,
like that.
Yeah, pretty much it would, and that's how I usually carry all my expenses. It all goes on a credit card and then pay it off at the end of the month. So if I did have an unexpected purchase, it would hopefully go on the credit card if they accepted credit, and then yeah, in the few weeks between the statement closing and the billing date, I would just go pull money out of Acorns. And luckily, I've never had to pull out money when the market was really down. But even in the couple times when the market's been pretty far down over the last 5 years, I've only ever seen my account be at like near zero, never like a negative yield, and I equate that to basically being the same as a regular savings account earning 0.2 interest % or whatever. So it's worked out well, but there's probably better, more secure ways where you're definitely going to earn yield.
Somewhere a little safer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put all my expenses on pretty much 2 credit cards, and that's the American Express Gold and the American Express Platinum. So I don't recommend that you do that for everybody, but it's worked out pretty good for us because we're able to get most of our expenses as groceries. So with the American Gold Card, I get 4.25% back on groceries.
That's really good.
Year round?
Sorry, what was your question?
Year round, or is that like a
Per transaction.
okay? But it's not based on not for Q1 or Q2.
No, it's anytime. Every month they'll give you that. And so I have my Platinum card linked to my Schwab account. So if I want to transfer those points into actual cash, I can. And so that's what I do. I ended up just transferring that into our savings account, our joint savings account. And so we can add onto the emergency fund from there.
For me, I have a few different bank accounts, but the two main ones I use are my Sandia Labs credit union. It's like kind of my main checking account, and then I have Ally as an online savings account, which typically offers slightly better yield. But I keep my emergency fund in there because it does kind of provide that extra friction by not having it accessible all the time, still having to make a transfer to my normal account if I actually wanted to use it. That's becoming a little bit less true as I've started hooking up my crypto accounts to Ally, and I've noticed more has been coming out. And then I have a few other bank accounts that I used to do for those opening bonuses, and then I just transfer those to Ally and then I close them. Like Capital One with their 400 and Citi just gave 200.
Alex, how did you start doing that? Like, is that something you picked up on Reddit or?
It is on Reddit. There's a subreddit called Churning, but one of my coworkers was telling me about it, that he does these rotating bank account bonuses, and it's so easy for us to switch our direct deposit that we can do it electronically now. So it takes like a few seconds and it just switches. So I just will open the bank account, hook it up to my main account, get my direct deposits in that new account, and then send it back to my normal one. And then once I've hit the criteria to get the bonus, I'll switch it back to whatever my main account, the direct deposit back to my main account.
That's so nice because I try to do that, but I have to physically send in like a copy, and it takes so much time to actually switch over to like another bank. So I have a 2 right now, and I can do up to 3 different bank accounts. So I have my personal account, then a joint account, and so I can use one more on my slot to do that bonus, but I have to switch it personally every single time, or like a PDF fill out.
That's definitely annoying. I don't think I do it if I have to do that. In terms of amounts, like, are you guys, for an emergency fund, are you looking at 3 months, or do you guys go more for 3 months of expenses? Is that how much you guys are saving, or do you do more or less?
I never started with a set amount I thought I needed. What I did was, again, when I started it, like, I think it was 5 years ago, coming up on 6, is I just started really small, just putting away like $10 or $20 a week. So basically I started with nothing. And then over the last 5 years, I've accumulated probably more than 3 months. It's probably about 5 months of a buffer. And I've also steadily increased how much I'm putting into it every week. So it's kind of been a gradual process to build up to that amount. But I never really had a goal in mind, I guess, of how much I should have.
Yeah, this one's been kind of tough. I've gone back and forth a bit. I guess I still haven't decided on a certain amount. Luckily, I think my monthly expenses are pretty low in an emergency, but I think what I'm trying to decide is where I want to place it, because even now I guess I'm still not decided on where to keep it. I have a little bit in my savings just with the credit union, considering cryptocurrencies that pay stablecoins that pay good interest, or I don't know, maybe, I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I started with the whole Dave Ramsey paying off debt thing and just save $1,000 in the beginning. But with, one time we had an expense where it was like the stove broke down then like one of my dogs got bitten, and then I forgot what else was going on. But like $1,000 was just not enough to cover that like emergency, because like the stove was like $400 or something like that. The dog going to the vet was like $500, and so now I kind of switched that over to do pretty much 3 months right now, and working into a 6 month.
See, I'm gonna. So sure, $1,000 isn't enough, and so that's about what I have now, and it ranges. That's what I have in my savings. My checkings will bounce between 1,000 and 3,000, but I do like the only having 1,000, because it kind of lights a little fire under you to get stuff paid off, so that you can save that emergency fund. So, and sure, it's not enough, but I feel like I'm always 13 days away from the next paycheck, which I can use. And if I am 13 days away, I just got paid. So, but I see what you mean. But see, I think we're in a little different situations as well, you and me, Flash, where you need to be a little more responsible. Where I just have 2 dogs.
Those dogs, man, they can creep up on you. You never know when they're gonna get in a fight or eat something, or and then you have to take them to the vet. It's like having kids. No, I have. Sorry, my dog's over here. So I guess, I don't know, there's fireworks, so he's scared, right?
I like that idea of not keeping much around to, as you said, light that fire. Because I used to keep, maybe $500 in my savings account, and then my checkings account would normally just go up and down with my normal expenses, and not very much higher than that, higher than 500. But eventually, now my savings account is like, over the years, I've just brought it down to like $30, just because, again, having that like separation and like lighting that fire. So when like, if I see that my checkings account might not have enough to pay rent in like 2 or 3 weeks, I think it kind of, lights that fire and gives you a reminder of like, okay, I shouldn't spend that much, even though all the money is like actually somewhere else. But it gives you that reminder of like, okay, well, I need to maybe be more careful what I'm spending, or maybe not go out to eat or something like that, or buy something cheaper in that way.
I'll say this for our 2.5 million live viewers right now. we do not recommend that. but no, I know where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I'd keep a little more, but well, okay, but technically also you would put all your savings into your Acorn, and Acorn I feel is relatively safe.
Yeah, I mean, even a year ago, it was at like a 0% yield over the past 3 years, which is bad. But of course, the market just bounced back. But I am thinking of diversifying that, or putting emergency fund money into a different place where it actually isn't tied to the stock market and is a little more safe.
Let me go get my dog out of here because he's freaking out.
Okay.
Keeping the 3.5 million live viewers in suspense here.
Yeah. We don't know if the dog's going to come back, if Jesus is going to come back. Okay.
All right. Good. Your guys' risk tolerance is way higher than mine. I will say that much.
I agree, Alex. I'm with you.
I will have to say, and I don't know how rational of a fear it is, but like I just want to have the cash that I can touch in case like either something happens or I lose my job or something kind of. I think that's the biggest thing because you brought up a good point, like that you're only 13 days away from your next paycheck. I'm more worried about like if that next paycheck isn't coming, and it's also in the middle of like a recession. I kind of like watching it just sit. Like now that I actually have a savings account and have watched it grow, I found it's easier not to touch than it was before. Like when it was always just a little bit, it's like, oh, what am I keeping this for? But like as I get closer to my goal, it's like, yeah, I don't really want to touch this at all.
Yeah, it's funny how that works, huh?
Yeah, I don't know if that leads us into talking about stable coins, because that's actually what I want to try to pull money from Acorns and put it into in order to have a more secure emergency fund.
Good segue.
Stable coins. That's a good thought there. I've been looking at it. USDC definitely yields a lot more than any bank, that's for sure. So Danny, what are stable coins?
Stable coins are a cryptocurrency that theoretically should always be worth about $1 US. So when you buy it, it'll cost you $1 US and you'll have one stable coin at that point. And if you ever want to sell it back into regular dollars, it'll be worth $1 is the goal around stable coins. And there's a bunch of stable coins out there, popular ones being USDT and USDC. Then there's a few other ones with sort of different goals, but they all have the same, different ways that they're implemented, but they all have the same goal of consistently being worth $1 for each coin.
Alex, I know. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna ask real quick. You can freely buy and sell these without, I guess, reporting them on your taxes or anything, right? Because you're not making any profit or capital gains or.
Right. So theoretically, when you buy it, it'll be $1. When you sell, it'll be $1. I'm not 100% sure if that trade will end up on your taxes when you do them. I'll have to double check mine because I'm about to finalize them. But you at least you shouldn't be paying capital gains or loss, or yeah, you shouldn't be having to pay taxes on those.
Or you wouldn't have any, yeah. Okay.
But it does count as buying and selling cryptocurrency. So you would have to answer yes to that question if you sold them.
Alex, I know you've also been looking at some stable coins. Any suggestions or any ideas?
I would stay away from USDT. USDT is by Tether, and then there's USDC, which is by a combination of like Circle and Coinbase. But Tether's had some issues recently where they were advertising that they were a one-to-one backed by the US dollar. So for every USDT coin, there was also $1 in a bank account, which ended up not being true. It is backed by different sorts of assets, but there's been a couple of different accusations that they've been essentially creating Tether coins without any backing and just buying Bitcoin with them. So they're kind of caught up in some scandals right now. So if you're going to go with a stable coin, I think USDC is the way to go. There's a couple other different ones that are either backed by other assets or even like algorithmically try to keep it as stable as possible. But USDC is audited, I think, every month or every 3 months to make sure that it is truly backed by $1. And I think it's just superior right now to Tether.
Yeah, Tether unfortunately was just the first one, so it's become the most popular. But yeah, if anyone wants to get some right now, USDC, which is US dollar coin, is probably the way to go. And as Alex said, yeah, they're audited every month to make sure that they actually have the backing for the number of US dollar coins that are minted. And yeah, to cover the most important idea around why you would want to put an emergency fund in a stable coin is that there's a lot of platforms out there that'll pay you 9% or more. One of the platforms I use, Celsius, actually pays you 10.5% per year on your US dollar coin. So instead of having your emergency fund, which people typically think of as just kind of wasting space in your bank account and taunting you to try to spend it, at least for me, put it somewhere where it's actually, you know, a $5,000 stable or emergency fund would make you $500 a year. And so
And not only is it taunting you to want so you can spend it, but it's over time just losing value.
Yeah.
And I think that's the main thing I don't like about keeping a lot of money in, and that's why I really haven't built up my emergency fund, is because I just have a hard time seeing that much money in my bank account not quite doing anything. So, but right, those high interest. So I think I'll probably consider start to move some over, maybe slowly but surely.
And does that mean you're going to build a emergency fund that's more than $1,000 too? A little extra motivation to do that?
Yeah. I mean, and I may just keep it a third of it in USDC, possibly on Voyager, because that's the platform I have. Maybe a third in my bank account, just to have it accessible within a day or two, and then I'm not sure, maybe a third. Yeah, not haven't decided yet, I guess.
Yeah, I actually think that's a good idea. I didn't even think of that. Yeah, if your money's not in a bank, you probably should split it up between different places in the case where anything ever goes wrong.
I am very intrigued by these stablecoin yields right now, especially with interest rates for traditional debt being so low, and the yields on these coins being so high. It makes it really easy to leverage your debt positions into something that can actually make you money. Like if you were going to buy your car cash versus going with a 3 or 4% loan, it makes more sense to throw your cash into USDC and hold it in Celsius for the life of the loan, and you make the difference between what you're paying on your car versus what Celsius or whatever Voyager. There's a couple different ones. Even Alicia told me about one today that she found on TikTok called. I'll have to look it up. But I mean, it is starting to reach a broader audience, I think, which will be. I think it'll be interesting to see if they can maintain these rates as high as they are.
Yeah.
I would like to put a portion of my savings into a stable coin, like a high yield stable coin. Not all of it, and probably not as much as you guys are talking, but I've been aiming for like a 4-month emergency fund. And so I was thinking about putting like at least 25%, maybe 50 into USDC, because there's still risks, but definitely would like to see that those interest rates come in.
Yeah, I was looking at USDC compared to bonds and tips, and I mean, it's just so much superior. And I think you definitely, it's like if in a regular bank you had $9,000, if you put just $1,000 in USDC, that's like almost the same amount when it comes to like a 1% yield. Yeah. Like having it in Ally, I think they pay out 1%, right?
Actually, I think it's 0.5 right now.
Okay.
It's been high. It fluctuates a lot.
Even with the bonds going back to 2.4.
I haven't looked. They typically send out a hooray email every time they raise their rates. Not as much when they lower them. But last time I checked, it was 0.5. I don't think it's a whole lot higher than that right now. It was as low as 0.3 in the last year, though.
You get confetti and the whole.
It was. I mean, it was over 2% for a while, which was a really good deal.
Yeah, that's really good
as far as savings accounts go. But yeah. I'm sorry. Okay, so I'll go back to the one that Alicia was saying was called Outlet Finance, which doesn't really market itself as like a crypto place, but you submit cash and they end up using Celsius as their back end, and they give you back 6%. So they're taking that 4% difference, but it doesn't have that same marketing. Yeah, as the I don't think you actually ever convert it to crypto. I think this company does, and then just gives you the interest. I'm not quite sure how it works.
That's interesting. I would question whether they're FDIC insured.
I can't imagine they are.
Yeah, they probably wouldn't be. Huh.
Is
But would
Cel-
they, at the end of the year, would they just provide you with a 1099 interest?
Yeah.
is Celsius moving to be self-insured? Or was that another platform?
No, that was Celsius. They're moving to have a self-insure service where I think they're talking about losing 0.5% interest, but that money goes into like an account that will act as sort of an insurance pool in case anything happens. Still no specifics around it as far as I know, but they did have an opt-in screen in the app today if you were interested to join that wait list.
They have a wait list?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't expect them to roll out that feature as fast as they did, but I was listening to the AMA today, and yeah, they explained that it's basically just an internal account that they're going to maintain. And in the case that any of the people they lend the money to don't pay up, that's where the money will come from to pay the people back. Which, I mean, I already had a lot of confidence in Celsius, but little things like that just make me trust the platform a lot more, especially for keeping like emergency fund money or just most of my crypto there. I think about a little more than half of my crypto is on Celsius and the other half is on Voyager. But yeah, I think they're building a good trust basis that I think will encourage a lot of growth for their company and hopefully maintain the yield as it is pretty high.
What do you guys think that will do to like fintech and like traditional banks when you have all these other crypto currency brokerage or just places or apps, yielding so much money and traditional banks just so behind on, just offering anything to the consumer?
Yeah, once it gets a bit more popular, I think the banks will have to catch up a little. Consumers might even start demanding to be able to deal in like USDC or some of the stable coins, because a big thing we didn't even talk about yet is stable coins can be transferred in 30 minutes from one account to another versus a normal bank transfer, which takes 3 to 5 days. So there's a lot of other benefits that I think consumers might start catching on to, not to mention how much interest people are paying with US dollar coin and other stable coins. So it'll put the banks in a tough spot, I believe. But I think the more people that start using these sort of platforms, the yield will go down a little bit over time. But starting now, I think over the next few years, I think I would expect the yields for stablecoins to stay, 9-10%, maybe slowly start to drop off in the next 3 years, 4 years.
Yeah, I'm looking at Voyager coming out with a credit card and a debit card, and I'm looking at like crypto.com, which I think one of you guys staked to get the Ruby card. You both did?
Ruby debit card gang.
I know. I'm excited. 6 months I got a stake, but we got a stake, but it has some nice perks actually.
What are their perks? I haven't looked at it or seen it.
I believe it's it's all the cards change a little bit. I think it's 1% cash back. They cover your Spotify.
It's the Ruby card is 2% cash back on purchases.
Okay.
And then they pay for your Spotify up to $10 a month.
Free ATM withdrawals up to a certain amount. There's some nice things with it.
On top of being essentially free to use, you just have to give them $400 that you have to keep with them, and it gains interest. And but if you ever pull out that money, then you lose the benefits of the card, and it goes back to 1% cash back, and that's it.
And I forgot what I was going to ask.
Well, like that's like, that debit card is crazy good because that's my Charles Schwab, I can take out any ATM I can use any ATM, and then they'll cover fees and things like that. But they don't give me a cash back. Like they don't do a 2% cash back. That's actually like better than the Citi credit card, at 2% on every purchase, I'm assuming.
Yeah, there's some limitations around like you can't pay certain bills and stuff like that. Like people were abusing the card originally, which created a lot of havoc. They were like taking out cash from like stores or like doing weird stuff that they had to limit some of the transactions that they'll pay you back on. But yeah, most normal purchases, food, gas, any normal things that you do every day, you'll get 2% back in their CRO token, which can also appreciate in value or depreciate, but we're just going to focus on the positive here. So they'll pay you back in cash back in that token, which was sitting at 6 cents in December, but right now it's at about 22 cents.
Yeah.
So especially with crypto growing as it is, I think you can expect that token to go up in value over time, which would probably encourage you to maybe hold on to it, but you can sell it whenever you'd like.
Okay, it's back. So whenever you're using this debit card, it's not in a stable coin, right? It's your crypto.com account, and it's cash that you deposited in there, or it's not.
Yeah,
it's not CRO.
I don't know. I guess we'll have to find out once we get the cards. Yeah, crypto.com does give you an FDIC insured bank account, and I believe that's where the funds will come from. So it's just like spending normal cash. I would have to look and see if they have the option to spend cryptocurrencies as you swipe the debit card. Okay. But I think they probably do have that feature. I just don't know how it works.
But it is cash or USD.
US dollars, yeah, because they have a bank account. They provide you with a bank account when you sign up.
Okay.
Oh, that's really good. Maybe I need to get myself a crypto.com account and get myself a Ruby card.
That's right. Take Danny's referral code so that he can get some more.
Yeah, referral codes in the description.
I'll put it in there. Yeah, I gave out Voyager. Did anybody add to your Voyager referral, or did anybody use their? Do you know?
I would have to check. Yeah, I think we should probably just link to all the different products we talk about, put them in the description just in case anyone's curious about one of the platforms you mentioned.
Yeah, and well, if you guys can send it to me in like an email form so I can actually do the whole quick link stuff on the description on the video, I'll do that.
I'm curious to see because I know some platforms are coming out with credit cards, like BlockFi just announced theirs, which is kind of a trash product when you look at the it's a $200 yearly fee, which is just that off the bat, that's kind of I'm not really interested in paying that. There are certain, because it does offer like interest rate boosts, but other than that, I don't see why I would want to pay $200 for that card. How it functions, though, I'm a little bit more curious about, in terms of if they're going to actually have to do like a credit check, or if they're going to do some sort of collateralized line of credit versus on what you have in your account. Like if you hold $10,000 worth of Bitcoin, is your credit line $10,000? Does it fluctuate, or are they going to do a traditional hard credit pull to see how creditworthy? So I think it'll be, if it's going to be like a collateralized credit card, I think that does open it up to a lot more people who may not have any credit or poor credit, which I think is a real kind of game changer in the credit space for some people.
That's pretty interesting. 250 though, yeah, that's like your gold. That's what I pay for my gold card, and I get $100 on Grubhub, or 120 on Grubhub a year, and then I get another 120 on Uber Eats credit. So on those credits, it's already like 240, and then there's other perks like that 4% cash back. But that doesn't seem like I would pay $250 for that credit card.
Yeah, and I mean, it's 1.5% cash back, which is not all that staggering. You do get an interest rate boost based on, I think, how big your account is, but I don't know exactly the specifics. I pulled it up now, but
That's just a worse credit card than the reward credit card for Bank of America, where you can select your feature, and depending on what your account has, it gives you a credit boost. So like if you have $10,000 or more, you can get 1% yield more, or 1% higher on your expenses.
I am hoping that the other platforms offer some sort of competitive thing with at least with their own debit cards. I mean, with the RubyCrypto.com card at 2%, I don't know why you would want a credit card with less bonus points.
Yeah, I mean that Citi double cashback, or the double point cashback one, is like it's exactly what that is at the end of the day. So anything else like a Capital One credit card would go. I don't think anybody would use that. I wouldn't use my Capital One if I can just use my debit card to get 2%.
Yeah, the other benefit, I'm curious to see where Voyager goes with their debit and credit card, which I guess should theoretically be coming in the next
Hopefully.
2 months, before the end of the year, I guess we'll say. But I'm curious to see where they go. I'm excited about the Voyager debit card because you'll be allowed to spend your US dollar coin by swiping the card, and all the while, all the coin you keep in there, it earns 9% per year. So just on your normal living expense money, you can also be earning some yield there.
That's a pretty cool feature.
Yeah.
And then Voyager pays out on your monthly average, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. See, that's pretty cool.
It might be worth talking about the risk of stable coins versus traditional fiat, because I mean, part of the reason that they're able to maintain yields so high or interest rates so high in like the 9-10% is that they are lending out that money to other institutions. Now, the benefit is that you get a lot of that back, but obviously the downside is if those institutions start defaulting on their loans, the platform you're holding it on may or may not be able to pay you back. No stable coin is insured by any federal thing. It's not covered by FDIC or SIPC, since it's not technically a security. So there are some risks with these stable coins. I think are worth mentioning just as to get the whole picture of it. But I still think the interest rates on them right now are absolutely worth some of the sort of small risk that you take on with going to something like USDC.
Yeah, no arguments there.
Yeah. I was wondering if somebody was going to go ahead.
No, all I was going to say was, I've been looking, I've been wanting to put more money into USDC, and I just haven't. But I was looking at I guess it's a 4-year graph now, and it's been as stable as it goes. It's a straight line. And so I'd go ahead and put more money into it whenever I get a chance, and probably
I think
switch.
Although the problem with that is maybe these platforms have only recently started, and Danny, Alex, correct me if I'm wrong, but taking on all this, I don't know what to call it, risky loans or high interest loans, but has that been a thing this entire time, or has that only recently started, which increases the risk? Or
I think Celsius has been around for like 2 years around.
That sounds right. I think 2018 they started.
Yeah, and to give a brief description of how the yield is so high and how it started. is that these stablecoins are really valuable, especially to exchanges. For an exchange, it's kind of hard to get from a regulatory standpoint to the point where they're accepting dollars and allowing people to trade those dollars for crypto. So what a lot of exchanges started to do is they would just deal with stablecoin, and they would create stablecoin pairs to trade for cryptocurrency. And that way they don't need to deal with the traditional financial system. But these are also some of the largest users of these stablecoin loans, is just to kind of maintain their business. If they ever need stablecoins to have more liquidity for their trading pairs or whatnot, it's very valuable to them, since they can't deal in dollars a lot of the time, to just take a quick loan for the stablecoin, do their business that they need to do, and then very quickly pay those loans off. And it's just kind of how they run. So it's a brief description of, I guess, the market around US dollar coin and why they're able to pay 9+% yield on those, and why they're so valuable to have. Stablecoins are.
Okay.
No, and that's a good point, because you know, even as a consumer, when you're creating your account, especially like on something like Binance with set different layers of authentication that you have to do when signing up for the account. If you're just going to trade in, if you don't care about like you know, typical dollar or fiat onboarding, offboarding, you know, your layer of authentication is so much lower than if you want to hook up a bank account and move your money there. They when they start accepting dollars, they're on the hook for all of the regulatory issues that come with that. So USDC does make it a lot easier for them to operate in this space. That was a good point that Danny brought up. And kind of going back to your question, Mikey, I mean, some of these companies are pretty new, and it's not unprecedented to see a crypto company go under. I mean, Mt. Gox is gone. Everybody's holdings is gone. I don't know if Celsius carries that same risk. You know, we're in a much more mature space than it was, you know, 10 years ago. And I think a lot of these companies like Coinbase, any of the platforms, want to have a legitimate operation and be seen as legitimate, because I think it's more profitable for them to be a legitimate company than it is for them to, you know, duck and run with all of your crypto. I mean, because in theory,
Sure.
if Celsius wanted to, they could just take off with all of your crypto. You know, it is one of those not your keys, not your crypto kind of scenario. But I mean, that is part of the risk calculation that you have to do when you put it on. And I think it's a good idea, if you are going to do something like this, to spread it. We kind of talked about this before, but spread it around different platforms, so you're not tied to just a single one. All of them are offering pretty high rates at this point.
Any other platforms that you guys recommend besides Celsius, Crypto.com, Voyager?
If you're using Coinbase, stop and start using Coinbase Pro at the very minimum. I still haven't even gotten approved for Binance. Their app just shut down on me. So I mean, the ones that work for me are Crypto.com and Voyager and Coinbase Pro. Those are the only three that I use, and really only Voyager, to be completely honest.
Danny?
Yeah, no, that's all I use. I mean, the last 4.5 years, I had only used Coinbase, and I was always wondering, like, why I'm missing out on all the gains in crypto. But because Coinbase is usually one of the last ones to list different coins. So yeah, when I discovered Voyager about 3 months ago now, that's exclusively what I use. I got rid of, I either sold what I had on Coinbase that I couldn't transfer, or just transferred everything between Celsius and Voyager. And then yeah, Voyager is where I buy all my crypto now, and Celsius is where I put it if I want to hold it long term and earn yield on it.
I like your plan.
Yeah.
So does that mean we're all just gonna buy Voyager token? Is that what we're doing now?
That's what I've been doing every day the past 3 months.
It's taking a little dip today, so I picked a few up.
I set a limit buy for closer to $4. I've been much more impressed with the Voyager stock, honestly. That has been killing. That's been like essentially holding up my portfolio the last few weeks with the tech dip.
Yeah, I bought in when Danny talked about it, and then so that was like what was that at $7?
Yeah.
So
Like mid-January.
Yeah, mid-January, and I've been definitely impressed how the stock has just been going.
Absolutely. They have big ambitions, but if they can execute on some of these, I mean, it really is kind of a one-stop shop platform where you can get your crypto, your stock, you're kind of trying to be a Venmo clone. There are a lot of benefits for what they're trying to offer going forward. And I like the app. It's easy to use, and that is not something that is commonplace in the crypto market. I mean, the crypto.com app looks really good, but it's kind of garbage to use. Coinbase Pro is practically unusable if you're not really familiar with it. Like, just to pick up Coinbase Pro and try to do something with it, it is not intuitive. Voyager is by far, to me, the easiest platform to use. It really is kind of the Robinhood user experience in the crypto world.
Just being able to pick it up and use it.
Exactly. You know exactly which one you're going to go to, trade, buy, and you're done.
Yeah.
Super simple.
But I mean, if you look at the stock, and now let's just go back to the stock a little bit. At $24 a share, the market cap is only at $2 billion. And Coinbase was going to list at direct list at 100 billion. And so there's still a lot of room to grow. I mean, there's still a lot of room to grow, especially if they can execute, like you said, on bringing it all together, making it maybe into a somewhat of a bank, a place where you can just shop for everything all in once.
And the stock ticker is BYGBF. Just get everyone on the same page.
Yeah.
But
V is in Victor.
VYGBF.
I know I have to.
Voyager Digital.
Yeah, it's an over the counter. Go ahead.
I was going to move on to talking about the VGX token price as it relates to the stock price, because they have a sort of pattern that's developed. Pat Ackerman on Twitter posts pretty frequently about it, but because the stock just jumped up, because it was like 16 last week,
right? Yeah,
and it's up to 24. So typically what will happen is the stock will jump up first, and then the VGX crypto token will follow it pretty soon after that. They kind of just leapfrog in the general upward direction. So I think keep an eye out for that as well if you're buying crypto or buying VGX right now.
The coin follows the stock, you're saying? Sorry.
Yeah. So typically the stock will jump first, and then as the token is consolidating, and then soon after that jump in the stock price, the VGX token will go up as well.
What market cap is the token at right now? Does anybody know?
Could look it up. It's current market cap is a billion.
It looks a little bit over $1 billion.
That's not. Yeah, and the stock is at 2 billion or 2.4 right now billion. So what you're saying is you can. There's still 1.5 billion to go for the coin.
Yeah, well, so there's a lot of people who've been bringing up concerns online on Twitter. Some of the people that are smarter, or yeah, the smarter people than I am on crypto. So there are some hurdles that are suppressing the price right now because it topped out at 7, went down to 470-ish right now. But yeah, it's should go up. We'll see.
What are those hurdles?
I was just listening to him today. Not sure I could summarize them very well or not do it justice. But there's some hurdles with the conversion rate of the new users. I think they were throwing around like 30 to 40% between people who sign up and then funded accounts. And then there was negative pressure on the token price based off of the inflow. So from the token swap, a lot of VGX tokens will be essentially minted. So there's a lot of negative pressure from additional supply of VGX. So if you're not converting as many users as people are downloading, or if people aren't buying the token, so people are downloading the app, but not as many people are buying crypto, so not as many are buying VGX, and there's a lot that are going to be minted over the next year. Those are the general concerns that push the price target to about $10 for this bull cycle over the next year instead of $30, 30 to 60, which are the top range. Well, I didn't think I'd be able to remember that. It came to me.
Alex is looking at us like he's ready to say something.
No, I mean, I think the Voyager loyalty program will have a lot to do with how well VGX does in the future. And I think, like Danny was talking about the merger that they're doing with the LGO token will have an effect, and especially right now when you can, is it LGO? Is that the other token that they're?
I think it's LGO, yeah.
That's been trading considerably lower than the Voyager token. So if you're able to get, on an exchange that offers LGO, you can pick up what will eventually become VGX at a lot lower price. I don't know what it is now. I know a while ago it was under $1 what VGX was trading at. So a lot of different changes coming up that I think will kind of give a better, clearer picture of where the VGX token can end up. Especially if they really flesh out the loyalty program. I would like to see them switch from a minimum token hold for some of the benefits to like a dollar amount, sort of like crypto.com did. Because I mean, even with the price now, 500 VGX is almost $1,500 to hit that, which is a significant barrier versus the $400 that crypto.com's is. So I think the next couple months will be really telling in terms of how VGX will do in the future. But I mean, it's my biggest holding after Ethereum right now. So hoping it goes somewhere.
Yeah, I think, the only benefit normal users under 500 VGX will have is the 7% interest, which I think it's a start.
Yeah.
But yeah, they'll have to do a little something extra to maybe encourage people to even start to try to accumulate 500 VGX.
And where can I find the other coin if I was looking for it when it comes to like an exchange or anything?
I don't think any US exchanges have it. You would have to go onto a decentralized exchange, Uniswap or one of those, and good luck. You would have to buy a lot to go over to profit after the gas fee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
I looked into it a couple weeks ago because it was such clearly a good deal to buy LGO versus VGX, and I couldn't even. I mean, it was a non-starter. The gas fee was $70-$80. So it's hard to get over that hurdle.
You would probably have to buy thousands of dollars worth of LGO to make it worth it.
The gas fees are so high right now.
Is there any risk in buying LGO, as in Well, I guess if you lock in the current price it's at,
You do. So for one of the risks that I have been, I mean, obviously besides the gas fee, one of the things that I was concerned about is I had a coin that I bought back in 2017 called Stratus that went through a swap recently, and it has been an absolute nightmare trying to get it to the new coin. So when LGO swaps to VGX, I don't know how seamless that's going to be and how they're going to facilitate that. It could be easy or it could be a nightmare, and that's been one of my holdoffs. Is I haven't been able to do it. I think I'm just going to lose the whatever I have sitting in my wallet because I can't get it done. So that's been my concern. I can't imagine it's going to be that hard, but there haven't been any specifics released either for me to feel comfortable trying to do that.
Do you think we can just tweet at Steve and he can help us out?
Come on the show, and
Yeah.
CEO of Voyager, come on the show and walk us through it.
Walk us through how we can, transform, get new coins.
It's worth the tweet.
It's worth the tweet. I don't think we got enough. The 2.5 that Michael was talking about it's probably not enough views for him to come on.
If all the viewers just hit the like button, we'll get there. We'll get his attention.
We'll get his attention.
Are these videos monetized?
Absolutely not.
What are you doing?
What do you think?
Monetize these bad boys.
Oh man. No. We're just starting out, guys. We're barely bringing out content, so these are definitely not monetized. This is just my enjoyment, me doing it, me hanging out with you guys, getting to talk about crypto. We haven't really talked about stocks, but probably do that next time. And but yeah, it's mostly just my joy of editing these videos and breaking them down.
Yeah, thanks for doing that.
hanging out, learning.
Yeah. I didn't know half of this stuff. I didn't even know VGX was gonna adopt another token. So yeah.
I like how that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, eventually we'll get to you guys teaching me about stocks because I'm just stuck in crypto land.
I would say it's the same. Well, when you look at crypto, what do you usually how do you usually break it down as to if you want to buy or not buy?
I rely a lot on the online community. There's a lot of YouTube channels, a lot of Twitter accounts, and to be honest, it just takes it. What I do is that probably several hours a day, at least 2 hours a day, I'm consuming what's going on based off of a bunch of different people. And there's a few people who always have their favorite coins, but I listen to, I think, enough of their voices that it kind of allows me to form my own opinion about which ones to get into and which ones not to. So I don't really have a straightforward method, but it's really just consuming as much information and news as possible. And then I just kind of am able to come up with a conclusion after that at some point.
Well, I know when we talked about it, or when we first started texting about it, you talked about market cap being one of those criteria as to like being able to determine how expensive coin was compared to like Bitcoin or Ethereum. And then the other one was like the utilization, what the purpose of the coin itself is. So I think those two is probably what I've been going off of, and that's kind of served me pretty well. But I was just seeing if you had another tip or.
Follow their Twitter account for the crypto. So that's it. But yeah, I guess I forgot about the basics. Just market cap, current price, the volume, stuff like that, which you can all find out all on coinmarketcap.com, I believe.
Alex, what do you usually do? Well, I've been there's a couple of different. Well, Danny's been my main source recently of the altcoins that I've been looking at, and my recurring buys right now are just Bitcoin, Ethereum, VGX, DOT, and Link. But also been dabbling in the Coinbase listing kind of swing trades based on their announcements, like Matic and as well as ADA recently.
And
Just
sushi.
kind of, huh? I
And
did not do
sushi?
sushi. I did
Oh,
not do
okay.
sushi because didn't realize sushi was even going to get listed until their announcement. But it made a little bit of money, not a ton. Matic was definitely a good one. And then when I first got Voyager, I just put $25 in the smallest market cap coin. So that was Gollum and StormX at the time. And both of those have made money. So
Hey,
no real fundamentals in any of my trading. All just
well, I mean, the smallest market cap is not a bad thing. You know, that's not like I would say that I tend to do that as well when in stocks when a sector is doing bad. And I did that with movie theaters not too long ago, and that worked out pretty well for me. So I'll start looking at the smallest market caps in coins and check those out. And if there's any one that kind of takes my eye, I'll probably look into it a little bit deeper.
One thing that was interesting, and it's a little bit off topic, but I was looking more into ADA, especially after this, the Coinbase listing, but we didn't even until recently surpass ADA's all-time high trading value. I mean, it was back in 2018. It's interesting and a little bit scary looking at some of the altcoins history going back for the ones that were around in 2017, looking at their pump and their crash back then. And most of them haven't even recovered completely since then. So it'll be interesting to see if that happens again after this bull market's over, if there's a true altcoin crash like there was last time.
Yeah, I think we'll see something similar since we are in a bull run. If you pull the trigger on any smaller alternative coin, you're bound to get some gains, especially on like some of those smaller cap ones. But I would expect that when things start to turn around in this bull run and you see Bitcoin start to nosedive, those smaller cryptos and altcoins will be the first to go. So I think they're fun to play around with, and in a bull run, you'll probably make some money. But yeah, those will be the ones you'll have to be most careful about. Because yeah, I expect a similar chart.
What do you guys do for portfolio management? I mean, when I do stocks, I usually do anywhere between 10 to 15 companies. I don't do more than that because I don't think I can keep up with more than that. So is there like a limit for the amount of coins or tokens that you guys buy? Like you're like, oh, maybe I don't want to keep track of 10 or 15 or 20. I'm not sure.
I can go first. My biggest holdings are definitely Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then followed by the utility coins like CRO and VGX. And I would like to keep my portfolio mostly in Bitcoin and Ethereum, at least at this point, with a little bit of altcoins. I just think right now the two big players, Bitcoin and Ethereum, are probably somewhat safer bets. And I don't think I'd want to have too big of my portfolio in some of those smaller altcoins, even if they have better profit potential.
Yeah, and I used to only follow probably one or two cryptocurrencies during the whole bear market. So like 2017 to now, I would typically only follow Litecoin price movement and buy every time it would take like a 20% dip. I think my investing strategy has changed a lot just in the last 5 months, to focus more on establishing longer positions in more staples of cryptocurrency. So as Alex was saying, like Ethereum and Bitcoin. So I think I'll start to develop those more now, but cryptocurrency has essentially become my hobby over the last year, especially. So to talk to how many I'm keeping track of, I've been able to manage about, I think I have like 12 or 13 different coins right now. and that's been fairly manageable. But as I mentioned before, it's like 2 hours a day of consuming crypto news to be able to manage that. So yeah, the bull run, I think I'll maintain this, but once everything cools off a little bit, I'll just stick to probably 5 different cryptocurrencies that I'll continue dollar cost averaging into, and then just probably check up on it a lot less often since there'll be a lot less price movement overall.
Yeah, I like dollar cost averaging just about anything when it comes to any sort of investment. Would it be stocks or crypto? I think a lot of people, want to time it perfectly, and if you just keep waiting on the sideline, you're just never going to start investing. So I think dollar cost averaging is your best bet, really, on any sort of asset that you want to do.
Yeah, crypto used to just be my fun, like kind of playing around in the stock market, but it was tech related, so I was more invested in it. So that I had that mentality of I want to do all these trades manually. I want to find like the best price targets for buying and maybe predict how far it'll dip and set buys at that level. But yeah, if that now it's become a more sizable investment, so I have to think more carefully about it. So definitely dollar cost averaging is probably how everyone should just start. It is kind of fun to play around and maybe have a few $100s that you just kind of mess around with, but most of your money should just probably be dollar cost averaging into coins that you think will do the best and just kind of leave it.
Yeah, I do one, not for all my portfolios, but just for the bigger my bigger stock portfolio, I do about 2%, which is more riskier investments. The AMCs, I think I got Workhorse in there, and things like that. So I think that's probably what I'll start doing as well with my crypto portfolio, is maybe just allocating 2% of that into riskier coins, maybe smaller market cap coins, and checking those out. I know, was it Atari had a coin or has a coin for a casino that they're building?
Yeah, I did read about that. I don't know I'm not familiar with the specifics of it, but I didn't see that headline.
So yeah, maybe throwing some money in there and YOLOing that 2% of my portfolio.
You know what? I tend to not have the issue of having to keep track of too many coins, because as soon as I open one up and don't understand it, I'm out. I don't know. So I think kind of like you, Flash, I really like seeing a coin and seeing, I guess, like the real world use of it or the practicality of it. I think that's why I liked VeChain, and that was probably the only coin that I've gotten. And VeChain's like a supply chain management type coin. So that's the only coin I've gotten into that's not, Bitcoin, Ethereum, or some of these that are similar to Ethereum, these platform coins like Cardano or Polkadot. Yeah,
I love Cardano as a platform. I don't know if I'm a believer in coin. We'll see.
You'll be converted.
I sold most. What was that?
And what was pretty eye-opening was the market cap was, I think it was mentioned last time, I think they mentioned that the market cap is already a quarter of what Ethereum's is.
It's around
Who knows
there.
where that's at now, but
it's sitting in slot number 5 as of, I think, today, out of all the cryptocurrencies. But yeah, it's up there so there's a lot of coins. But yeah, we'll see what happens when Goguen launches on mainnet and we get smart contracts. But I think ADA is pretty much done for this bull cycle as far as multiplying your money. It shouldn't go more than 3 or 4 times from here, and that's like I would be surprised if it did that, but long term I think it'll do pretty well.
And right, if it were to 3 or 4 times, it would be at what Ethereum's at now.
Well, I would expect the whole market to go up as well.
Right.
In that. So, but yeah, I don't think ADA will overtake Ethereum this full cycle, but I think it'll do well. It'll fight for it eventually.
Yeah, I think it's great to have the competition there. I mean, there needs to be a true alternative to Ethereum. I mean, the gas fees on Ethereum are crazy. It just makes more sense to transfer ADA or XLM or even stupid Ripple than it does on any Ethereum network.
Yeah.
So I do hope that the Cardano takes Ethereum, but Ethereum's not going to lie down either. I mean, they're launching Ethereum the 2.0, which is supposed to solve some of their scalability issues. Because the hard thing is ADA move goes to even $10-$20. Some of the value in it right now is the low fees that it is to use the network. The higher the coin goes, unless they're able to bring down the fees, loses some of its utility.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
I'll have to check what the ADA fee price is tied to, but
yeah,
I think
I don't know that either.
it's expected, I think, to stay pretty low. But the other thing is that I'll throw out a bit of an analogy. I think crypto is like essentially still playing in the kitty box of the kitty pool of money. So even though Ethereum and Cardano are like, if you're stuck in crypto land, they're like fighting against each other. It's like, oh, which one will win? Well, there's like still a whole Olympic-sized swimming pool of opportunity and inflow of money that could potentially happen. So I think essentially both of them are going to do well long term.
No, I think I don't even think we've touched the iceberg of what some of this technology is capable of. I mean, Theta with its decentralized video streaming service is going to be a game changer. There's just a lot, I think, that we don't know what the world's going to look like, and how much is going to be run on blockchain in the next 10 years. There's a huge potential.
Yeah, it's crazy that it's had a few pumps and it's garnered some mass attention, mass consumer attention, but yeah, we're still really early in the market and the opportunities that it could lead to later. I think if we're investing now, I think we're setting ourselves up to do well later.
I agree.
It's really interesting what, like you said, what crypto takes over next.
Well, it would be blockchain. I mean, what blockchain takes over next, I would think.
Yeah.
You're wrong for that.
You're wrong for that.
No, I mean, I think there's crazy usability with some of this stuff, and the banks aren't going to die either. I don't think they're going to lay over dying, but we're early. I think Danny put it very well. I think we're still even with Bitcoin going on 15 years old now. I think we're still pretty early in the whole. It's clearly not going away. I mean, if it was going to go away, it would have gone away back in 2018 after the first crash.
Yeah, especially now.
Yeah, I think people get hung up on like, oh, it's too late. Like every time it pumps, people are like, oh, well, it went up, and I guess now I'm too late. And I think people get stuck in that cycle. And I think that could just be probably equated just to investing in general and saving in general. It's just, well, the market just ran up a bunch and it's at the top, so I can't buy it now. But starting and dollar cost averaging into any market, crypto or otherwise, it'll start to pay off.
Yeah, I mean, when I was looking at Voyager as a stock, it had run from like cents, like 60 cents or something like that, to about like $7. And you're thinking like, why am I going to buy it now? It seems like it just, skyrocketed to the moon kind of thing. And I was like, well, I just kind of looked at the fundamentals, saw what the market cap at the time was, which was less than $1 billion. Saw what it could possibly do, the amount of growth that it had. And I'm like, we're still pretty early in it. So might as well jump in. And if it goes back down, it's a buy, because you're getting it on a discount just based on what everything else as a business it's growing.
Definitely. My dad bought Voyager stock and he uses Voyager. So
Your dad uses Voyager?
yeah, I got him to sign up. As a shareholder, he felt it obligated to try it out.
I agree with that 100%. And what does he think?
He thought it was pretty easy to use. He's not real big into crypto. I mean, he's trying to retire, so he can't play in these super volatile spaces, but he thought it was really easy to use. He owns more Voyager stock than I do. So he thinks that the platform is going somewhere. So if an old boomer like him does, maybe it really is something.
And do you guys have to pay over the counter fees on your guys'?
No.
Not
on Schwab.
Yeah, not on the Schwabs. Sorry, Michael. Get better.
Does Fidelity do that?
No, so E-Trade did.
Oh,
okay. I haven't yet. I haven't even tried buying on Fidelity, so I'm not sure.
I haven't looked either. I think I'm gonna transfer out of Fidelity. I'm a little bit irritated they didn't raise my fee. I'm going back to Schwab.
Schwab is so much better.
It didn't waive your fee?
No, they told me no. They said my account was too small for them to care about.
Oh man.
Only
I'm
care.
deep with Fidelity. I have my HSA, my 401k, so I might as well.
Makes sense.
I'll keep both. I'll keep that in E-Trade and I'll balance them out.
Michael, just go to Charles Schwab.
I already have 2 accounts. I'm a simple man. For crypto, I just use Voyager.
Yeah,
I
get it.
Yeah. Too many passwords.
It is too many tax forms at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. Tax forms they're just.
I don't look forward to future me having to do some of these crypto taxes.
Hopefully they get better.
I did like I had to import 4 years of transactions, including really weird websites where I used to exchange my crypto over the years. And so I did that. This year finally, like a full breakdown of every crypto transaction I've ever done.
My God.
So it did take me like 3 or 4 hours because some of these websites didn't exist anymore. So I was digging through my like Ethereum wallet transaction history and getting wallet address. Anyway, if you've only bought on exchanges and sold on exchanges, I think you could be done in about 30 minutes to an hour. But it does, So you should be okay. I'll walk you through it next year.
I did hook up all the APIs to, I think it was Coin Trader. Is that one of the ones you told me about?
CryptoTrader.
Trader. And it did. It only took about an hour to get all those. And since I haven't used any weird exchanges or anything like that, everything's still in business. It didn't take that long at all.
Yeah. Or Coin Tracker actually is the one I've heard.
Coin Tracker is what I used, and I actually like it as just like an app.
Here, guys. Just what about this? What if you never sell coins, or tokens ever on Voyager or any platform? It's like
I think that is not that bad of an idea, and I'll tell you how it could work out for you. You open up a Celsius account, deposit all the coins that work with Celsius, and you could use your nest egg of cryptocurrencies to take loans out against. And you don't have to pay taxes in those cases, and you could use that as a way to fund other money-making ventures that you want to try to do. Instead of taking a loan from a bank, you just take a collateralized loan out on your crypto. And if those assets have appreciated considerably, you can take out a pretty big loan to, maybe buy another investment property, or you want to invest in some sort of thing and eventually pay that loan back to unlock your crypto collateral. But it is possible to not sell your crypto and have it actually provide a net benefit to you instead of having to sell.
That sounds like a margin loan.
Well, it is. I mean, it is kind of. I mean, it's just sort of like a mortgage. You're putting your house up as collateral. So if you stop paying your mortgage, the bank comes and takes your house. it's a little bit similar. I mean, it's a little operates a little bit differently on Celsius, but if you stop paying your Celsius loan, or more realistically, if the price of whatever collateral you put up drops in price, you're going to get margin called. And if it dips too low, they are going to liquidate your crypto position. But they're pretty upfront about what limits those are upfront. So you should know pretty early on whether or not you're going to have to cover your position or pay back your loan.
Does one of you guys know when you would get margin call? I'm guessing when the asset depreciates at least 30%.
So it depends on your loan to value ratio. So I took a loan out on my Litecoin. So it was a $500 loan, and I tied up, it was a 33% LTV ratio. So at that point, Litecoin was sitting at around $170 each, I believe. So they explicitly stated that I'd be margin called at around like the $70 Litecoin level, $76.
Okay.
And they actually have 25% loan to value ratios, which would have meant the liquidation point would have been much lower than that.
Yeah.
But I'd have to put up more Litecoin collateral. So
Right.
it's a risk, but I took out that loan. It was only $500, and I had the funds to cover it at any point. But Celsius, being the transparent company they have said multiple times that if you're under threat of margin call, they make sure to communicate with you, and as an absolute last resort is when they'll actually liquidate you. So they're there to help you. They don't want you to get liquidated, and they'll give you time if you need it.
So what if, a little different aspect of what if you already hit the minimum balances to start accruing interest? Is that a step easier than having to report capital gains, capital losses?
Is it easier? Well, I don't know about easier, but it is possibly more profitable. I mean, the loan you take out, I think the max interest rate is 8% versus, I mean, unless you're in the 0% long-term capital gains bracket, you're going to be paying 15 or more % on long-term capital gains. So in terms of ease, I mean, it is easy to take out a loan on Celsius. Like, there's not really a huge barrier to get that. And I mean, you would have to report the sale and taxes. I think it's more about not having to pay taxes than it is about one being easier than the other.
Right.
And also not having to sell your crypto, because theoretically your crypto should keep appreciating over the years. So it's valuable to be able to leverage them to get money when you need it, but not have to sell it, not just for tax related reasons, but just because you expect the asset to continue to appreciate. And I guess that'd be mostly for like something like Bitcoin, which we would likely see appreciate over the next few decades. But not having to sell it, but being able to leverage it to get short-term funds that you may need.
Okay.
Maybe even in an emergency, you would be able to pull out a loan as low as 1% and then just pay it back.
No, it's a really cool feature of Celsius, I think. I still want to earn interest, so I haven't taken a loan. But and I did that math the other day, and it did not work out too well to try and use it to leverage into USDC to earn the interest and actually make money.
I've done that. Yeah, I've done that too. I know that calculation too.
It was like, I think it was with the bonus that you had, I think it was $50 or whatever. I think that's the only way I can make money off of it, and it wasn't really worth the effort.
What? Yeah, I took that loan and put it into ADA and VGX at about like 70 cents and about like a $3 level. So that ended up working out, but yeah, that's probably ill advice. You should not margin trade or trade on margin.
Do not trade on margin. Well, I mean, I did take out a loan when the market was pretty much red. what was it, 2 weeks ago. Everything was on sale, and I didn't have enough money or enough time to move money into my brokerage account because it usually takes a couple of days to do it. So in that aspect, I did take out a quick little loan, but like in a couple of days, I ended up going and paying it back because I didn't think that the same sale was going to be there two days later.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to use margin if you have it. All right, we're running up on 2 hours now.
We are running up on 2 hours, guys. It's approximately 10:30 here in the New Mexico state, and I gotta get. I have to work tomorrow. So, is there anything else?
Sorry, this we're recording. You don't have to go into that.
No, I was gonna see if you guys wanted to go into another topic before we stopped.
I think we can save anything else for next week.
Yeah, 2 hours into it is a lot of content. So yeah, we'll break this up, and hopefully you guys like the new video. Probably be up by Monday.
Check the links in the description.
Cool. Yeah, smash that like button.
Smash that. We got a couple of dislikes last week, so
yeah. This goes when we talk shit about Doge.
That's right. We did.
That's all the Doge stills came out and disliked the video.
That's exactly what happened. But we don't have any subscribers. People need to subscribe too while they're liking it. I mean, we got the views, but no subscriptions. What's up with that?
I guess we could probably start.
We haven't even.
I see 4 subscriptions here.
Literally quadruple the amount in a night.
Oh man.